my God. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Sussan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and this is Afefe, Touched by Tarot. You're either on her channel or my channel, and thank you so much for joining us. And, you know, Afefe and I get to talking and visiting. We're like, are we supposed to be live? Are we supposed to be talking to somebody else besides just us? But we finally remembered, and here we are. How are you, Afefe? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing so well, Sussan Lynn. I'm doing really well. Happy always to be here with you and the peeps. So, and it's true. We were just going like, and then was like, wait a minute, we're late. We got to go. You know, we got to. So thank you all for being here.
Yes. Listen, if you guys are on my channel and you don't know Afefe, please check out her channel, Touched by Tarot on YouTube. She does classes, membership, readings, events, mentoring, you name it. Check her out. Her website is truly touchedbytarot.com. I think I have her information in the description. That was my intention. So hopefully I did. So we're going to get started because we have 1 hour. And thank you to the readers. Hey, Kevin's Loving Vibration is here. Everybody that's a reader, we see you. And thank you for the moderators. And thank you for all of you guys for showing up. All right, let's get started. We're taking your questions. So we'll see what you guys have to say. I would just say that today, and Afefe, you might not have heard because I think it just broke. Biden has COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe we should just look at that real briefly, right? Look, this guy has been run ragged, literally. I mean, I don't know, the kind of pace he's been keeping has been insane. So I actually think this is good for him to get some downtime. And I also think the spirit guides told me, you know, he's trying to perform he's trying to play with a band that's never going to acknowledge him. It doesn't matter how many events he does. It doesn't matter how many interviews he gives. The man can do nothing right. Okay. So really and truly, he should just go home and get well and take care of himself and just stay busy taking care of the American people. And don't worry about the broke down media. What do you think, Afefe?
I think that's sound advice, and I don't think he'll take it.
You're so right.
Right? Because he understands, you know, he's really well, burned out, tired, you know, 10 of Wands. So his immune been going so quickly, and not just the physical demands, but the mental, you know, and what he's going through as well. So he's just been worn down. Temperance is here to bring him healing, which is awesome, and there's strength. So he will, you know, he's stubborn. He's going to get he is already getting the absolute best care. He will rebound and recover. But I also think this strength is making me feel like he's going to try and push through it. Like, even if he's just doing, instead of in-person things, he may do some things virtually or whatever, but it just feels like he feels like he cannot afford to just stop for days. I think he's going to keep pushing himself, but he's going to be okay. Temperance and strength coming together, he will be okay. He's getting, they said he'd already started the Paxlovid.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's already started the Paxlovid, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think Dr. Jill Biden, you know, she's going to be on his case. You know, she's going to be making sure that he gets more rest. I think she's in his corner, right? Yes. So I think the next thing is the thing that I think is shocking to me. I mean, yeah, I got to admit it's shocking, is Adam Schiff coming out and saying Biden should step down.
You know, I think there's some tie-in here also to Pelosi, because remember, she was really kind of vague when questioned about what he was going to do, and we know that those two are you know, super tight. I wonder if I don't know. I feel like there's something that prompted him, or I'll put it this way: I get the feeling that he would not have done that without having had some sort of conversations with her or something. You know,
a green light anyway, right?
A green light.
But I mean, what's up with that? Like, I mean, I find this hard to read, this energy of these Democrats. I mean, when I go into it, I feel like they're terrified that they're, listen, they're looking at the polls. They're talking to their political junkies, and they're in a bubble, and their bubble is their echo chamber, and the echo chamber is panicked, and they're not talking to their constituents, right? I think Adam Schiff got a pretty big clap back today in his social media. I saw a lot of at Adam Schiff, I'm riding with Biden. I know I did that. So, you guys watching, if you want to go to any social media, because he's going to be on all of it, and just type in the at symbol Adam Schiff, and then just say, I'm riding with Biden, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
What do you think, Afefe?
I think there is this fear within. I love the way you put it about a bubble, because I do. I think within congressional circles, within certain political circles, there is fear, and especially around the down ballot races. If I'm not mistaken, Schiff is in pretty good shape, or they seem to think he's in pretty good shape. But other races, perhaps within the down ballot races, and that seems to be a lot of what's driving it right now with these continued is because there is this concern around what will happen in some of the state races. I think it's overblown, and I think right now it's the pausing that's really causing a lot of harm and damage. If everybody would just say, that's it, that's enough, today's the day, here's who's on the ticket, and let's get it cooking, then we know one way or another.
So I will have to say this, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. So there's a lot of people in the Black community that thinks this is because this is a slight to Kamala Harris, number one, and I think it is. And then I just saw somebody in the comments say it's not about Biden, it's about Kamala Harris, which I don't really get, because she's the VP, So I don't know why y'all are trying to pass judgment on to get rid of Biden because you don't like Kamala Harris. I don't even really understand that. Also, I would just tell you guys, I'm going to do a video, but one of the polls is YouGov, YouGov.com or something. It's a kind of a well-respected poll, but you guys, you can sign in to YouGov, YouGov. You can make your own profile, and you can start taking polls. It's a pretty nifty site. You can go in there and you can say, I'm interested in sports. I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in the environment. You create your own little ecosystem of polls that you want to participate in. And they even pay you to take the polls. So I'm going to tell you guys that if we went to YouGov and we all started taking polls about Kamala and Biden and the Democrats, we could actually start moving that poll. And we're not lying. We really are for these people. But that just shows you've got to be participant. And this is how you can do it. So that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Here's somebody who does surveys for YouGov. Somehow you can make money doing it. So if you guys are on limited income, it might even be a way to make a couple extra bucks. I don't know how many.
Wow. Okay.
What do you think about that, Kamala? I mean, what do you think about Kamala? Do you think that's a problem? I mean, I
think that Kamala is perfectly poised to step in for Joe Biden in the event that he went downhill. I think she'd be fine to do that. For her to be moved to the top of the ticket right now, and then right. So I think that's a thing where some people are feeling like, why doesn't Biden go ahead and bow out when you've got somebody who would be there to take over for you in the event that you're hurt anyway? So go ahead and move on and let her do it, if it's going to mobilize women, minorities, et cetera, et cetera. If more people are going to get excited with her on the ticket, but I'm not so sure that they've really made a good case for that in terms of breaking out of the bubble and really connecting with people. I don't think they have enough of a sense of whether or not that could even work, or whether it's plausible.
The sense seems to be, and I don't know if I've seen Adam Schiff or any of these people come out and say this like point blank, but the sense seems to be that they really want both of them to step down, and this kind of weird forum thing happen. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, have you lost your ever loving mind? Literally, democracy is literally hanging in the balance. We've got a great president whose poll numbers are going up, whether you want to believe that or not. But I mean, you got to admit that if the polls are stacked against him and his numbers are going up, his numbers are probably 10 points higher than they think they are. So it's just nuts. I don't know what's going on with Adam Schiff, but I don't see Biden stepping down. I think they're a unit, a team, and I think they're going to go like a locomotive. They're going to go straight through the election. And then after the election, I hope the Democratic Party sits down and figures itself out, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're going to hold steady. This idea of them going ahead and announcing him virtually, within the next few days or whatever, there might be a little resistance.
They are resisting that. Yes.
Yeah, there might be. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. I was feeling like there was going to be some resistance around that, but either way, it's a done deal in a matter of weeks. And I think once we get that behind us, once we get the Democratic National Convention behind us, it's got to be done.
And what do you think, Afefe? Because I see, and feel free, we all say what we think. We don't need to agree with each other. Mm-hmm. I feel like I see Biden's energy going up. Like his energy's going up as we get closer to the election. Not only his vitality, but his standing, his everything keeps going up for him. With or without the Democrats. Like I'll do it with you, I'll do it without you. Get on the boat or get off the boat, whatever.
100% that is his mindset. 100% that's his mindset. He is very, he's made up his mind, he's made his decision. He as you may have heard, he's even started to bite back at some of these naysayers now and saying, listen, you're pissing me off, leave me alone. I've already told you what I'm going to do. Whether or not he is actually energetically moving up, I don't know. I really think a lot of that, my sense, Susan and Peeps, is that a lot of that is going to depend on the surrogates who come out here and start to get really proactive in his camp. We need Taylor Swift. We need mega celebrities. We need to hear a message outside of Biden himself or Kamala Harris or any of the traditional, we need that messaging out there. And I'm really hopeful that part is going to happen. But yes, he's gonna be fun. I've got the sun around him. And
woo!
I got the sun for him. When you said, is he going on the upward trajectory? I think he's going to be fine. He has made up his mind to see this through, and he almost feels like he's too close to the finish line. We're almost in August.
Insane, isn't it?
He's like, we're almost there. It doesn't make sense for him to not continue to go forward. So I think that's done. But I do sense it's going to be an extremely, extremely tight race. And I hope I'm wrong about that. And I also am preparing. I've been saying this on my channel, and I think you may have said the same thing, Susan, is be prepared that even when this goes, for a second term, we're in January, they're still contesting it, trying to recount votes. Yeah. And this wasn't right and that wasn't right. We got to be ready for that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, we got to be ready for that. They're gonna try to say it was rigged.
And how we need to be ready for that is we need to be flexible, you guys. We can't be in our static thinking that if one thing happens, everything is shot and it's over. That's not going to help you. Okay. We need to be very flexible. We need to be like Jack Smith, look, he gets bad news. He just goes back to his office, figures out something else and comes back and deals with it. Right. So we just need to be flexible. So I totally agree with you. Also, to celebrities, Ariana Grande came out today in support of Biden. So what I had seen was these celebrities kind of loading the bases, and then, Taylor Swift knocking them all in, like the home run. So I think the celebrities, like you're saying, are all going to start coming out. Not all of them, but some big ones. Ariana Grande is a big celebrity, right? And you've got these women. So I think you're going to get these women that are going to come out in all ages. I think you're going to get some that are, were big in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and then some that are big now. Yes. So I think that's really, really going to help. And I just want to say one thing, because I did this thing for my members last night, and the guides told me this, and I thought, and they'd never said this before, and I think this is fascinating. They said there's these ghost voters. Now, they're not dead. They're not really ghosts, but they're unaccounted for. They're looked over. They're the kind of people that people don't pay any attention to. And they said they're 22 to 32. And, they might work in fast food or retail or whatever, they may, they're kind of the workers that would be the gig workers. I just heard them say also people that make under 50,000. And what was interesting to me about that, because though Adam Schiff in his little bubble, he doesn't care. They don't know about the normal. That's a problem that Democrats have. They need to get out in the streets. They need to get out on the campuses. They need to sit down with actual people and stop this erudite ivory tower. Show me the data, because the data is only what you poll. And we all know that that's wrong. So there's these unaccounted for. I mean, they're really registered. They're real people. They're real citizens, but nobody cares about them. And they are going to be the undercurrent of what's going to come to the polls. And one of the reasons is because, they're women. So they've got all the women's rights things. And also they're very worried about Project 2025. They're very worried about their overtime disappearing. They're worried about their taxes. They're worried about all these things, and violence. Actually, that's one of the things the guide said, because if you work in retail, you've been robbed. You know what I mean? You have been robbed. So they're very worried about guns. They want gun safety. They want their kids to be safe. They're very worried about vouchers. And so I just think that was fascinating. So you guys just know that there's a whole group of people that are going to be going to the polls that are going to tip the scales, but we're not going to even know they're there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds... So our votes being 220 million. You guys are on these comments. I'm trying to keep up with you.
I know, and I have it on slow mode, but I really didn't put it on high slow mode. I put it on just like, Libby with Meister Tarot. I don't know if she's here, but she's wonderful. Anything you want to?
I can't. Let me see if I can find something.
You is this the one you read? Sterling seeing the votes being 220 million in 2024 and 120. That's exactly right. This is what I'm saying. I think we're going to be very, very surprised at the turnout. And this is honestly despite the voter suppression and the weather and whatever else might be happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think mail-in ballots are going to be phenomenal, just phenomenal. And they got to be careful with them, making sure everything gets counted. But I think people are going to turn out and vote in ways never before. They have to. There's just too much at stake. And I tell you, right now the Republicans, well, the MAGAs, we don't even have a Republican Party anymore. The MAGA Party is on. They are just on top of the world right now with this JD Vance thing, but. that is such a disaster. That's just such a disaster. And I tell you who I feel. I've noticed a number of people on my feed, on my channel, and I'm wondering how you feel about it, Sussan. Apparently, his wife, kind of reminds me when Barack went, launched his career, and we all know that Michelle, extremely more successful than he was, and she had to step back and she decided to support him. Well, apparently JD Vance's wife, Usha, is super accomplished and now has quit her job, and they're saying she's going to have to become a
wow
trans wife. And so they put up a picture of Kimberly, when Kimberly, what's her name, Guilfoyle was with Newsom, and what she looks like now. And there's like
it's
there's
insane.
a whole transformation that they make their women go through, and they're like, it's going to be awful to see what happens to her.
I agree with you.
Mhm.
I 100% agree with you. And the other thing that was very sad was the MAGAs didn't know he was married to an Indian woman. And did you see Nick Fuentes, his little video? He said, "How can this man represent white people and help white people when he's got brown babies?" Nick Fuentes said that. I'm like, okay, y'all are really,
It's getting deep
there's
out
a
there.
crack in the Republican Party.
It's getting deep.
It's getting deep, y'all.
It's getting deep.
I felt bad for her. I saw her the first night of the Republican convention, and she kept like holding her hair. She kept like putting her hair in front of her face. Like she was like, ooh, I couldn't tell if she didn't like to be in the public spotlight, or
No,
if she just thought this whole thing was like
yeah,
insanity personified. Like, how did I get here?
yeah.
Do you think, let me ask you a question. Do you think he'll stay married to her?
Nope.
I don't either. I see him getting a blonde haired, blue eyed, Kimberly Guilfoyle, remake, Trump wife remake, whatever all that is. I don't even know. I see him replace, just like you said, it's like they all have a certain look, the women do. It's crazy. And it's not a typical look.
It's not. It's a total transformation. Total transformation. So but 2, 4, and 6, their kids are 2, 4, and 6. So that's a tough situation. I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon, but that's going to be rough.
I give him a year.
When I pulled his chart,
that was a great video. If you guys haven't watched Afefe's video on JD Vance's astrology chart,
yeah, that was interesting.
That was a fantastic video.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it said he's very argumentative. He's a Leo, but sun sign, but with his other planets in play, that he has some aspects in there. His Saturn is very strong. He's got some stuff, like you get the impression behind closed doors for entertainment purposes only. He might be something else to deal with. And you can only imagine that that's going to get, amped up. How about the fact that Melania is not speaking?
Nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found. It was interesting to see the disrespect to Mitch McConnell. I mean, not that, I'm all about a boo for him, but that was just interesting to see how fundamentally things have changed. And Kevin McCarthy tried to get in front of Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz turned it on him. I hate it because I really want to see Matt Gaetz like, but yeah, it just goes to show you, in that crowd right now, that's an interesting place to be.
It's knives out, y'all. It's knives out. Like somebody said, it's not chaotic. It is chaotic. What's his name? Rudy Giuliani was walking down the aisle and just fell out, just fell out in the chairs. And then when Matt Gaetz,
Navarro leaves jail and they put him on a jet and send him straight to the convention, it's like, what? What?
And they're all saying, we don't like convicts, we don't like criminals. And I'm like, what about that man standing there with the Tampax? The man did have a Tampax on his ear, y'all, for real. It was a Tampax. But there was almost a fight. If you watch that video with Gaetz screaming at McCarthy, Gaetz turns around to leave and he runs right into this guy that kind of has that military look to him. And he goes, "You're an a-hole." And Gaetz is like, "Screw you. I don't even know who you are. Who would you be to talk to me?" And he goes, "Because you're an a-hole." He's screaming at him. And I thought they're gonna start fighting. And Gaetz kind of got skinny and slid had to turn his body sideways to get between the two men. He did. He kind of like became a piece of paper and slithered right through there. So yeah, it's a mess. It's not anything. It's not all together.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting, and I cannot wait to see. I want to look at Vance tonight. I cannot wait to see Donald tomorrow. I mean, he's just going to be. I just can't imagine. It's going to be equal parts piss me off and entertaining. I'm going to be laughing out of one side, and cussing out the other, because I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Now, what do you think? And listen, guys, we read about Biden having COVID. He's going to be fine. He's going to get some much needed rest, I hope. But what do you think about, because this is the thing, like you and I think Kevin's Loving Vibration, a few people, you guys predicted JD Vance being the VP. I didn't really do a prediction because when I go into Trump's energy, he doesn't want a VP. Kings, dictators don't need vice presidents. And if he wanted a VP, it would be a sycophant. It would be somebody like Pence, but he couldn't have a black vice president. That wouldn't do. And he couldn't have a woman vice president. So his options were limited. But anyway, what about Vance? Because I personally feel like when I said there's going to be a coup at the Republican convention, I think Vance is the coup. I think the powers that be said, here's your VP. You're going to like it. Because when I saw him the first night, they were all shouting, JD. The whole crowd was shouting, JD. That is not, Trump doesn't like that. Nobody shouts for anybody unless it's me. And yet he was having to bear all those people shouting somebody else's name. To me, this is a big deal. This is weird.
And I think I mentioned this in the Vance video, Susan, and company. Here's my only thing with that. I don't think that Trump he is who he is, and he wants all the attention on him, and he's going to play that up to the max, right? We already know what to expect. But I do get a sense from him that I felt some wind being taken out of his sails once he starts to feel like he's free. That I feel like that was always his plan. We know it's never been about really being president or governing the country or having political ambitions. None of that. It was always for him about making money, utilizing power. And I think there's a part of him that's actually going to feel a little relieved with JD Vance, because he knows he's got him in a position.
Nice.
You know what I mean? He knows he knows that JD knows what he's trying to do. He's trying to position himself to carry on in 2028. Trump is like, I got you in here now, behave, and you can carry on the mantle. He'll be, he's 78. His time is ticking as well. So I get the sense that rather than the natural conflict that sort of set up between Trump and Pence, because Pence was more traditional, I think JD is going to mold himself so much in the tradition that to an extent, as long as he doesn't get carried away, Trump may actually really enjoy him, take him under his enjoy.
Okay. So like having a mentor, kind of like having a son that he likes.
Mm-hmm. And who's sharp, because
instead of the ones he doesn't like.
That's right. The ones that don't make any sense, and who's sharp. And he is sharp. JD Vance is one to watch.
He is one to watch, but when you put him next to Kamala Harris, like in a VB debate, I think she's gonna mop the floor with him.
She's gonna go at him, but he's dirty. Whereas Pence,
well, that's true,
was more, Pence was more in his role, but she's gonna. I mean, he's dirty.
He is dirty. Yeah, he's dirty. He's nasty, actually. And he doesn't like women. We know that. Yes. Kevin Loving Vibrations wants to know, do we see a Vance-Harris debate?
100%.
You see it 100%?
100%. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin and company, I think I read that they had already floated some dates. I want to say it was later, even as soon as later this month and into August. But it was pre-Democratic convention. Not that they agreed to it, but that they were already floating dates. So they're already in talks to do it.
Well, they'll want it because it's going to be a ratings. It's going to be a huge ratings thing, and neither one are going to back down, as somebody suggested. I want to give a shout out to my very, very long time dear friend Cindy Soho. Peter Thiel bought JD Vance. I agree with you. And how scary that Musk is saying, I'm going to give $40 million a month to Trump's campaign. How do we combat that? I mean, what is your thought on that? Do you think that's going to cause us to really have a problem, slow us down?
I think we've already slowed down, and if reports are to be believed, I think in terms of the money, their money definitely shot up, and our money has gone down some. But that goes back to the point you were making earlier, Susan, about this. We got to come out of this elitist. Let's just talk about all these policy wonks and poll numbers. You got to take it to the streets. And that's something that you can do. Yeah, you need money to mobilize people, but there are ways to utilize social media, etc. Once you get people on board, you can start raising that money. Don't worry about the mega donors.
That's true. If the Democrats are infighting, the donors are not going to open their great big huge pocketbooks and put money in there because it looks like a shite show. They're like, I'm not gonna get behind this horse. It's broke. It's broke down. It's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's terrible. But and it is terrible. And I want to validate everybody's feelings that it's terrible and panicky and all of those things. But you have to remember, they're in their own echo chamber. In a lot of ways, we're in our own echo chamber. I really feel like if anybody went out and talked to those people that I talked about, 23 to 33, the gig workers, they're fed up with politics. They're fed up with politicians, but they understand that their life is hanging in the balance. And I think they're going to come out and vote.
Yeah, exactly. Susan,
go ahead.
I was just going to go back just to Kevin, because I didn't pull cards, Kevin, Loving Vibrations, to the issue of whether or not we'll see a debate between JD Vance and Kamala. We have the Magician and the Four of Wands. So yes, I'm sticking with a yes. I think that's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen too.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, Susan, to your point, I agree with you in terms of like just the way that we're going about it. And there is so much of this is really about our attitude toward it at this point. There's enough money in the Biden campaign, regardless to who's winning how much at this present time and who's bringing in the larger draw. There's enough money in the Dems war chest to do what's necessary to wage this campaign over the next several months. The money's there. Just use it.
I know.
And stop pulling down the ads because they say they want unity for the next 25 minutes when they don't even, and they make it to 12 minutes, maybe. Run the ads.
Run the ads. I had no idea Biden was so nice. When you see him in these interviews, he's like, well, I don't want to take credit for my staff. I don't want to sound like I'm, taking credit for this. I'm like, dude, stop apologizing and just tell us what you do. Just do it. So I don't know what this question is about. Has anybody asked about Trump's intelligence briefings? I assume you mean that once he gets the nomination, that he gets access to the intelligence. What do you think about that, Afefe?
I think I'm gonna go put this water.
I thought you were gonna pass out. Are you gonna pass out over there, girl?
I'm gonna trade in my water for something stronger.
I have to call 911. Dang. God. Afefe to pass out.
That because really, like, that is where it starts to get really icky, you all. Because there's nothing we can do to stop it. The man's entitled to the information. But again, I think this is where, so we can't stop it. That's going to happen. But we just got to make sure that he can't do anything with it. That he's not the one who takes that information and ultimately is in a position to start to do something with it.
I don't see him getting information that is so sensitive I just don't. Like, I mean, the regular briefings might sound sensitive to you and I, but I don't think they're life and death. What are you getting cards wise? Did you
It's
pull
got
cards?
the Ace of Cups, so he's gonna want it. He's gonna push for it. The people around him are,
You
yeah,
got a card for I'm selling secret documents? You got a card for that?
pretty much. Yeah, he's gonna push for it. He's going to. It's almost like I see him going like this, like, yeah, I'm back in it. I'm back in it, baby. I'm getting it. So I almost see him doing that. But I also agree with you. There are levels to, without him actually holding office, there are levels to what he would have not only be entitled to, but what he needs to know. So I don't think he's going to have everything, but he's going to try. He's going to go out.
Try.
Yeah, he's going to try.
Several people are saying Trump didn't give Biden any information, but this is the problem with Biden, you guys. Biden is, come on, Trump. Come on, Donnie. Come on. Let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Come on. I mean, I'm like, hold his hands and then throw him on the ground.
Yeah.
No, I am not condoning violence. But anyway, yeah. I just, here's the thing, guys. I'm not worried about it, because if Trump gets shared some documents or some sensitive intelligence and he sells it or whatever he does with it, you can better believe that what is that? The Five Eyes? What do they call that? The Five Eyes. Have you ever heard of that? You guys the guides are reminding me. There's a group of international intelligence people, which the United States is one of them. I think it's called the Five Eyes. But it's MI6 in Britain. It's, whatever. So we have people who will intercept that, and then he'll have more charges.
That's interesting.
Five Eyes. Thank you, Gigi by the Sea. They're Five Eyes. They're called Five Eyes. There are 5 different intelligence groups from 5 different. I lost Afefe. She hit the wrong button and she gone. Well, we'll bring her back. Okay. Let's keep on keeping on. She'll come back. She probably went to go get vodka, y'all. That's what happened. Let's be honest. She's changing out the water for vodka. Okay. I know I didn't get rid of her. So let's see. Let's make the Five Eyes is correct. All right. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, I think you guys we have to be really careful about worrying all the time. Like I was just telling somebody, I went to bed worried about this stuff. I woke up worried about this stuff. And it just doesn't solve any of the problems. It doesn't help us. Yeah, we talked about Biden having COVID, and he's fine. He's going to be okay. I mean, I think it's going to be in his chest a little bit, but he's going to be okay. He's already got whatever that Paxlovid, and he's doing the thing. He's going to take some time off. So yeah, it's going to be fine. Let me make sure she doesn't text me like help. Okay, so let's see what else. Good. Don't worry. You guys, the thing that I can tell you is that if that we're on the roller coaster. So worrying is not going to help, because we're going to be down, down, down. We're going to be up, up, up. We're going to be down, down, down. So be flexible, be really flexible in your energy, and you'll do better. Here she comes. Okay. Girl, did you get some vodka? Is that what happened?
I got kicked out. You started talking about Five Eyes and kicked me out.
I did not kick you out, girl. I wasn't anywhere near. I'm gonna keep my hands where people can see them at all times. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Did you lose internet? No,
my internet. That was the first thing I checked, was my signal. My signal was strong. No idea.
I have no idea either. So sorry if it's on your channel, if it got interrupted.
No worries. We keep it going and make it work. So who we're looking
I was over here tap dancing and
thank you. I'm sorry about that, you all.
It's all good.
All of a sudden it just went off and it said try again. I got a blank screen that said try again.
Aliens. Yeah, there's lots of reasons that it could be. So let's pull a few more questions. We got about 15 more minutes before we are gonna shut it down.
Healing thoughts for Biden. I love that. Absolutely. Let's keep it going around him. Cash Peters.
he did a great video. Cash did a great video where
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Oh, look, here is Allison, the Stone Spirit's in the house. Assuming Biden wins, what happens? One of the governors said MAGAs would become totally unhinged. Yeah, they say a lot of things. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's. I think Afefe alluded to this earlier, and I'm getting this energy too, that we could have some kind of weird situation where Biden won, but they're trying to fight it. You know, they're trying to say if we can just get it to the Supreme Court, a la Al Gore, that will make a Supreme Court ruling or something, and that's not going to happen. I don't care what anybody says. Biden is not going to leave the White House. It's when you guys ask that question, I see Pence not getting in the Suburban to leave Congress. He stayed because he knew if he left, democracy was over.
Yeah.
So you guys, what do you get cards wise? Do you feel like the MAGAs are going to go cray cray?
I don't think they're going to go cray cray as far as like a Jan 6 kind of thing, you know, that level of violence. But I do think they're just going to try and litigate the heck out of it. Like they're going to try and every Secretary of State recounts,
right,
you know, proving we need to inspect the machines. We need, you know, every little thing that they can do procedurally to try and delay, put up a fuss, blah, blah, blah. But it's not going to work. I mean, I got the ace of, my first card was Judgment. So Pluto's in the house at that point. We're going to have Pluto in Aquarius by January, moving us ahead. So that change is going to occur. We've got the Ace of Pentacles, you know, leveling things out, things coming together. We've got Temperance, meaning people got to get used to the change. You know, this is what we're going to do. Got the Two of Cups, loving it. Like we're going to be this is the pres and vice pres holding hands. Like, let's get this going. Let's move it on. I don't see violence here. I think it's just going to be a resistance to accept the reality of it. And so I would hope, Susan, are you getting the sense that they're already putting things in place, like safeguards and guardrails in place to be able to show, here's the data, here's the machines we used, here's how the machines were backed up, all of that
But what
stuff.
does it matter? They don't care. You can give them all the data, all the facts, and they don't care, right? And again, it's like calling for those votes. They're just going to try to find that judge. So I think that's a problem, right? And I think that could really be that thing I keep seeing where Biden has to do something he doesn't want to do. You know, it might be that he has to stay in the office, even though his office is, you know, the election is disputed, because he's going to say, yeah, like you're saying, Afefe, here's the facts. Yeah. But you're going to have judges that are bought and paid for say, we don't care. We don't like canon. Like, we don't think that's the facts. Again, back to Cindy, something I want your thing on is that Biden, God love him, and I do love him, and I will do whatever I can to get him in office. But my God, that man sometimes works my last nerve. Anyway, his thing is he comes out with this big announcement that he's met with the left-wing Democrats, and the big thing is, I'm gonna get to the Supreme Court. We're gonna reform the Supreme Court. His idea of reforming the Supreme Court, that's my dog, it's storming. His idea of reforming the Supreme Court is to add term limits. Yeah. But like Cindy says here, you know, if we don't expand the court, forget term limits. We can't wait 18 more years, which is what the term limits are, to deal with this problem. We really just need to expand the Supreme Court, or arrest or indict or impeach Alito and Thomas. So my question for you would be, do you see, and I'm not going to ask you to lie to me. I do want you to lie to me, but I'm not going to ask you to lie to me. Okay. Do you see, because Kevin Loving Vibrations does the same thing. He just tells me the hard damn truth. It's like, God. But anyway, do you see Alito and Thomas leaving the court by, let's just say by March of next year?
If the term ends in June, like it did this year, by June of next year. Tower, right. 6 of Wands, Ace of Cups. You on, if my readings, when my aces are yes, my aces
I
say
know.
yes, I'm on the right track. Tower is tower, like tower's like, okay, they're out of here. And that 6 made me feel, I don't know, in a timing element, I just felt more like
Hmm.
around the end of their term. Like the end, if the term
So the
ends.
problem with that is, and I agree with you. I totally 100% agree with you. And I want to go now. I'm going to make my video go out so I can go get vodka. The problem is that's a whole nother term of Supreme Court. That's
Yeah.
October, this October through June. So we're going to say goodbye to gay marriage. We're going to say goodbye to God knows. I mean, God knows what they're going to, but I know they're going after gay marriage for sure because my guides told me they were. So we have another season of
I think they're going to go after gay marriage, but I don't think they're going to take it, Susan.
you don't think so?
I think they're going to go after it. I think that it's going to come up, but I don't think they're going to take it. 4 of Wands, commitment, 6 of Pentacles, the gift, the giving, get. King of Wands, that's somebody who would argue it. 2 of Cups, the right to love who you want. They even got a little rainbow in the back of that. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get it. I think they make.
What about the ACA, dear? What about the ACA?
What is the ACA?
Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. See, now I got you worked your last nerve. You worked mine, now I'm working yours, girl. Dang. Uh-oh.
I'm feeling if in fact states continue to try to ride their high horse, yes, but Justice Abbott is going to pay hell for what's happened in Texas in the wake of Burrow. The crisis of healthcare in this country that would happen as a result of them stripping that, especially with things like COVID still being out there, etc. Like that would open up such a Pandora's box. They're not ready for it. I don't think they will end it. I think there will be certain states. Spirit is giving me, Cindy. There will be certain states. Can't wait to meet you one day. There will be certain states that pull it back. Like right now during the summer months, there are certain states that are rejecting the money for kids who normally qualify for lunches, right? So there are states that have stepped forward and said, we don't want that money. We're not worrying about how, okay, it didn't end the program, but it meant that those states had the right to decide whether or not they would be willing to receive that. Cindy, that's sort of what I see with the Affordable Care Act. There may be certain states that decide for whatever, ultra red, that they want to pull back on it, but they won't eliminate it because it will still be impactful in other states as well.
And it's by the state. It's like state rule. I get it. Yeah. Well, that's we've already seen that people are going to be in the streets, so if your rights are taken and you really need that health care, in the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, or the Obamacare, look, I know a lot of Republicans that have small businesses are using that to get health care because you just can't get health care otherwise, right? So I think that they've never been very far-sighted, these people, but like you said, they're going to open up Pandora's box that they're not going to be able to handle. They're not going to be able to handle the pushback on that.
Not, and I tell you what, as quiet as it's kept, all of these Rust Belt people, MAGAs, who they're jumping up and down about JD Vance, those are some of the very people who are of need and depend on the ACA. Those are people who need those Rust Belt folks, blue collar, steel workers, etc. If it weren't for that, they wouldn't have health insurance. So they may not want that to be known.
Yeah,
but
that's true. You're right.
But they're right there.
It's the same thing with Social Security and Medicare. They got to have their Social Security and Medicare, but yet the people they're voting for want to take that away from them. It's just like you don't understand it. Do you have any feelings on Colin Allred beating Ted Cruz? You don't think he's going to? See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. Afefe and Kevin, they just give it to you straight. Like if you're gonna be in this video with me, with them too, you're just gonna get it. You're just gonna get it. There ain't no sweet talk.
No. I'll ask though.
I would say, while she's asking, I would say it looks a little bit bleak for him. He's always been a little anemic, like a little, like, I know he's a good looking guy, smart guy. Like he's got everything that you would want to have. He's the perfect package. But for some reason, his energy, he doesn't have that. He's a little, maybe he's a little quiet or something. I don't know what it is, but it's an uphill climb, I think, for him. If he wins, it's going to be a squeaker. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't count him out personally, but I think it'd be a squeaker. What do you think?
I think Ted Cruz is bluffing his way to victory. I pull him as the what do I have him here as the King of Wands and the Seven of Wands, because you know he's already given his speech. He's already like Nikki Haley and the rest of them. It was so painful knowing what she really feels and thinks, and to watch her stand there and just lie. But so to the point of Cruz, he's doing the same thing, and he's trying to rebrand himself to move along with this new era. And I think it may work for him. 10 of Cups and the 6 of Cups, sticking with what you know. Cruz.
Oh my God. Okay, so let me ask you a follow-up question. So the follow-up question is, do you see Cruz getting into any kind of legal trouble or criminal trouble in 2025? There might be hope, people. There might be hope.
Judgment. Something's going to get brought up.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it.
With the 4 of Wands. Is he married? Did he do something funky with his taxes?
For entertainment purposes only. I don't know, but he did. Remember, he gave money to Boebert or something. Like he has done some weird campaign finance things. I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm just saying
there's something with the money. 7 of Pentacles. There's something with the money. Something may come out with him funky around either campaign funds or something. And I also feel like it may dip into his personal life, something in his marriage, and he's going to be stressed about it. 9 of Swords. Are there ties between him and Epstein?
I don't know.
For entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only. I don't know. He might have a little freaky side. That now we got to get some bleach and clean our eyeballs out.
Yeah, there's something he's hidden. 2 of Cups, 2 of Swords. There's something he's hidden. There could be an affair or cheating with money or something. Something's going to come out in 2025 around him.
Yeah, that's what I kept getting to. So some of these people, let me give you a ray of hope. Some of these people like him and maybe Gates, because Gates is going down too. Jordan is going down too. MTG is going down. Boebert's going down. If they win their elections, they're just going to get across the finish line and be out. Because when we have Biden in there and we have the Democratic Congress, Democratic Congress can start dealing with the Supreme Court. They can start impeaching those Supreme Court justices. But also our man, Jack Smith, is going to start investigating all the Jan 6 connections. Plus, look, we just rung up Menendez. We just rung up one of our own, had to take him to court number 2 time to do it. But the Democrats don't play. If you're a crook, we're going to come after you. And I really feel like they're going to continue coming after Cruz and some of these other people.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's all just a matter of timing.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
Do you see anything with the media? I know the media has just upset all of us, including you. If you guys don't know, Afefe was a professional journalist. So that's a particularly sword in the heart for her.
Because I believed it. It's how I made my living for over 2 decades. Like and your reputation and ethics and all of that. And it's really a shame to see what's happening. Although I was not really mad about the fact that they yanked Joe Scarborough and Nika off the other day. And he got some, you do it again, I'll quit. Like, yeah, he's I could live without him. But and I'm sorry for any
any Joe people. Well, they only took him off for that one day after the thing that happened on the weekend with the bang bang in the ear.
Yeah.
But they lied to them and they said, "Oh, we're running coverage across all stations and everything is going to be," and they didn't do that. So they actually lied to those people, and that's one of the reasons why he came back and said, "Do it again, just do it again." So do you see the media like trying to pivot, trying to save themselves? No, they done put a fork in them.
Yeah, because they've been, from what I understand, many of the major media outlets, they've been so co-opted at the management levels. I love the people who, this community that we build, because I learned a lot of things as well, when in the comments and what have you. And I didn't realize that if it's correct, then there are so many. What
Sorry,
was
that was lightning. I think we're getting too close to the truth here.
Let me tell you, since we said something about them 5 senses or whatever it was, that kicked off.
Lightning just hit my house. It's okay. We still broadcast. This shit kills me. Oh my God. I'm the one that should be spraying like an extinguisher, not you. I'm the one that just got lit up like a barbecue. Dang. Anyway, on live, like I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, but respect to your internet, it held.
The Texas grid is hanging in there by a thread.
Hanging in there.
God, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Says you two are both electric. Yeah, we are electric. All right. You gotta see it. You gotta see us in person. It's really something. You think this is something, you gotta see us in person.
Yeah,
okay.
We got that happen.
Talking about the media, and you were talking about how you really enjoy our community.
Yes, I enjoy our community because I learn a lot. And in one of my recent videos, people were saying that many of the major media outlets, who, as we know, over the past couple of years have undergone these serious changes, right? You got major editors of all the major publications, Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, all these really reputable places, not to mention television media. They're all changing hands. They're all changing over. And these corporate entities who are conservative, and they're doing the big money thing. And as long as that happens, it's trickle down. And so the coverage you get, the reporters you have, I think we're still going to have our stalwarts out there. We're going to have our Rachel Maddows. We're going to have our, who's my girl I love? Joy Reid. Yeah, I love Joy Reid. We're going to have
Lawrence O'Donnell is hanging in there. He's trying to hang in there.
So we're going to have, some voices that we know we can listen to, as well as, others that we've discovered. But major media, mainstream media, not to mention the fact that, they went to war with Joe Biden. They pissed Joe off. Oh yeah, Joe was like,
that Lester Holt thing. Joe was like, when is the media going to start doing something? And Lester was like, wrong. What's going on? And I love Katie Fang. I love Katie Fang. Yeah. I love her. What is last question? Because we got to go. We just got to go. We got to go. First of all, my house is probably on fire. I don't even know it. But anyway, from that lightning strike, Afefe's over there spraying. I'm like, I'm the one who needs the extinguisher. Anyway, what about Rachel Maddow? I mean, I feel like, it's interesting that she stepped down from her nightly, like that grind, she stepped down and did her podcast. And she kind of has this thing where I just show up when I want to show up kind of thing. But did she do something that was like, did she piss people off? Because that's the sense I'm getting, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense that she did. I'm getting the sense that there's some resentment over her continued ability to sway you know, and the power that she still holds, because she can pick and choose when she shows up. And I think there's some resentment about that, especially as the network has changed hands during her tenure. You know, she's been around forever. And like you
Oh,
said,
that's
she
true.
put in blood, sweat, and tears. She was there 24/7. She is part of what put MSNBC
That's
on
true.
the map for its political coverage. She did that. When was it Keith Olbermann who
Right.
went by, remember? And he was the man for a minute. He went by the wayside and she stepped in and took over. So, but I think having done all of that, now she is the pinnacle of that whole lineup. And I think there's some, she knows it, and I think there's some resentment.
But is she saying something bad about Biden? Is she not supporting Biden? Because she seems to have pissed off the viewers.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, as we know. It's such a sensitive issue. If you don't go, I'm all in, then are you really, you know? And I think what's happened is some of her more recent commentary has been a little more measured, you know, perhaps through pressure to be unbiased and show both sides of an equation, etc. That's also why, remember, the word is that is one reason why they pulled Scarborough and Mika off, because
Right.
they had come out so forcefully for Biden and dogged out Obama and Axelrod and remember, you know, they had their little thing, and next thing you know, they're off the air. So I think she's kind of been given a warning. Watch how strongly you land in whatever camp, because it can impact you.
Well, it is true. I
Mm.
mean, look at Adam Schiff. I mean, look at Steven Spielberg. Who was it that came out? A couple of them came out against Biden. Maybe it wasn't Steven Spielberg. It was the other guy. Two people in a row came out, and I was like, man, that was hard. That was hard to take. Biden is going to be fine. We do know he has COVID. We read about it in the very beginning of our show. He's going to be okay. George Clooney.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
thank you for subscribing to Afefe's channel. She's great.
You.
Yeah, Stephen King. Yeah, Stephen King and George Clooney, Rob Reiner. I mean, Rob Reiner, I don't care. George Clooney, maybe I don't even care either. But you know, it's like, again, they're in this bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, and look at it this way. They had their opinion and they didn't do Hillary any good at the end of the day. So,
That's true.
you know,
As a matter of fact, this is all like what they did to Hillary.
yeah. So, you know, Joe's just got
Jon
to
Stewart.
push.
Jon Stewart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, there's and I also get the sense that some of this is in preparation. It's politics, literally politics. It's in preparation for the idea that even if Trump loses, and you still have certain players in the Senate, they don't want to lose access. They don't want to show their cards so strongly that they lose access. Going back to the media, not these other people. They don't want to lose potential access. And also between now and the election, they don't want them to just be on Fox. They want to keep that door open, that they can continue to get them on ABC, blah blah blah. Stephanopoulos is catching hell because, you know,
For real.
yeah.
He
But
should. He should catch hell. That was disrespectful. It was horrible. It was a horrible interview.
no,
It
no,
was
no,
terrible.
not the interview. The he got caught on tape. Out a fan or somebody, he had left the studio and somebody said, "What do you really think?" And he verbalized that he thought Biden was on the decline. It was like a personal opinion outside of the studio, and he didn't realize that the person had him on the phone, that they were recording him. So he's gotten a big.
Talk about access. I think Biden should cut their access. I think Biden should, well, apparently that's what he did to the New York Times, and that's why they got so mad at him, right? That started that whole feud. But I mean, really, Biden's got all these young people like Adam Mockler and just all these young people, Juliana, I don't remember her last. Anyway, all these young podcasters.
Yeah.
Get with the young people, Biden. Forget legacy media. They're not going to help you.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching them. Literally, nobody's watching them. Find some TikTokers. That'll get you some votes.
That'll definitely get you some votes. That'll definitely get you some.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. I know this was a quick hour, but we'll do it again if Afefe will come on. Just bring more spray and maybe put something else in your cup. And
That's it. That's it.
We'll do this a couple of hours later, and it'll be Sussan and Afefe After Dark.
That's it. We've done it before. We did our, well, it was for Valentine's Day, but we did a little after dark thing for Valentine's Day.
That's true. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That was in New Orleans, and we're not talking about that on the air.
Can't wait to begin.
I forgot about the Valentine's Day video.
Can't wait to go back. Can't wait to go back.
Can't wait to go back.
So much, and you know, we're gonna get through this no matter what. We got this. And I think as we do this, it can. So thank you again, Sussan, for being really, you know, a catalyst for giving us a safe space to come together and tell the truth and exchange ideas and just know that we're here for one another
and have a few laughs and support each other. Right? It's going to be okay. Yeah, it really is going to be okay, guys. But it is a roller coaster. So just prepare yourselves. Be flexible with things. Try not to let, you know. I think if you look back in history, you could probably find other situations where Democrats stabbed other Democrats in the back. It's really a Democrat kind of thing anyway. So I'm sure this isn't the first time this has happened. Basically, see Hillary. You know, so this is a thing we do. We'll get through it. We'll be okay this time. We're going to learn from our lessons, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're new to Afefe, please check out our channel and subscribe. Take really, really, really good care of yourselves. We'll see you again real soon. Okay, everybody?